Hey guys, it's Brad and the Buff. I got my buff in my head and I'm ready to go. I wanted to show you guys my hot tent winter gear loadout. It is that time of year when I get to go out into the cold, set up my hot tent. I love this style of camping. I love the style of hiking. And so it does require some specific things and some specific gear. And so I'm going to go over exactly what that is in this video. Hot tent camping has become one of my favorite winter activities. I get excited even thinking about it. I'm hoping to get out next weekend. Hopefully it snows, because that is the best, being stuck out in the snow. It can be 0 degrees outside and it can be 60, 70 degrees inside your tent. You can be cooking in there and having fun. It's a lot different than a typical backpacking trip, because I'll hike out and set up and stay there for a couple days. I did, because of that desire, last year when I was going out, some of my earliest videos were me doing hot tent camping. And so I was hiking in about 55 to 65 pounds, which slowed my range down a bit, but I wanted to get my gear dialed in a little bit more this year so I could go out further. So to start off with, last year I was using my Gregory Palisade 80, about a 6.5 pound backpack. And it was great because it allowed me to carry that load in a great way. But I wanted to get down to about 35 to 40 pounds gear load so I could use my Granite Gear Crown 60, a 2.5 pound backpack. So right there, I'm saving 4 pounds of weight. I also am switched from my Lux Megahorn, which is about a 9 pound tent, to my Lux Mini Peak. Now the Megahorn is a 6-person tent without the stove, but 4-person with. This is a 1-person with the stove. So since I'm only going by myself, this works, but it's also only 3 pounds. So I'm losing another 6 pounds there. And then just other pieces of gear. So those are my 2 main pieces. Obviously, I'm going to be taking, I switched over to the Ceenoc Vecto my last trip for my water carry and bladder. Along with my Sawyer Squeeze. I'm going to take probably a few hand warmers just in case things don't go well and I need them. Not good to be stuck out in the snow without some emergency gear, so that's part of it. My Fox LE headlamp. I'd bring some additional fire stuff, like I'll bring a little bit of alcohol to get a fire started a little bit quicker and easier, or to feed it in case it's damp or something outside. Here's my Sawyer Squeeze. I also bring an overhead lamp, just because I'm going to be in the tent. You know, it's not like a regular backpacking trip where you're going to be in there for, you know, just to sleep. I'm usually hanging out in there most of the day, so I will bring an overhead lamp. When I have this backpack, I have to carry a backpack cover. So that's what's going to be in my top pocket. I'll still bring my Z-Seat, which I love this thing. You know, just a butt pad to sit on to have some insulation so when you're sitting on the ground. And I'll still probably bring my Platypus Evo Zip for an additional water bladder just to drink from. So I'll filter with this one for my dirty water, and this is what I'll keep my clean water in, which gives me a total capacity of 6 liters, which is a ton. That way I don't have to run out, make a bunch of water trips. I don't have to necessarily camp right beside a river. I can bring all my water with me and I'll have a full day supply for cooking and everything. My spoon. Let's get into what I have in this backpack. My Corona saw. This is just a fold-out saw. I think I got this on Amazon for about 20 bucks or so. This thing is a beast. Just folds out. And I have to have this to process wood for my stove. So it is imperative that you bring something to cut up wood with, and I've really enjoyed using this. It's a Corona saw. This seems excessive, but it's actually not. This is just a 6.5-inch cast iron skillet. Last year I had about a 10.5-inch one because I couldn't find one the right size that I wanted. You know, this thing probably weighs 3 to 4 pounds at least. But the cast iron holds heat a lot better than, say, like an ultralight stove. and the an ultralight pan. And the reason I use this is because it does hold that heat. My winter well stove can be very inconsistent with how hot the top of it is. As soon as you feed it, it might get super hot, and then in 10-15 minutes it gets a little bit colder. And so either you have to sit there and feed it constantly, or if I stick the skillet on, it'll hold heat a lot steadier and easier, so I can cook a lot more consistently on it. And like I said, one of my favorite things to do in my hot tent camping setup is to cook. So I'll have that. This is my typical ditty bag. You know, it's going to have my headphones and plugs and stuff like that. My typical titanium cooking set, so it's going to have my French press in it. It's going to have my cup and my bowl. Polycro ground sheet. I bring 2 to cover the full floor. This tent is floorless, and it has to be that way because obviously you can't put a stove on top of a floored area or it'll melt it. So I carry these Polycro ground sheets with me, just so I have some floor covering. I still will probably, this is not an essential item, but I still like it, which is just my MSR reactor with some fuel. I just carry this in case I want to boil water. I don't have to wait, 10 minutes for it to boil on top of the stovetop. I can do it in about 2.5 minutes. So it just makes my process go a lot faster. If I want a cup of tea or something, I don't have to wait to make it. This is my Thermarest X-Therm Max. Fantastic sleeping pad, extremely comfortable. I got the long and the wide for me, and for me this is like sleeping on a bed. So I'll take this on a winter trip. Could be overkill depending on the temperatures, but better safe than sorry. Has excellent insulation. I have a video on that. One of my more popular videos is on my Winterwell titanium stove. This is my 4.5 pound stove that goes inside of my tent. And so, yeah, this is what I'll be bringing. I can set it up. It can warm my tent up. Fits right inside my backpack. And then my sleeping bag will just be my mummy bag. This is my REI Co-op Magma 10. It's a 10-degree bag. With this setup, I'm good in this thing, probably well below 10 degrees, just because I'll have some heat in the tent. Very awesome mummy bag. I don't take my quilt on this setup because I have a 40-degree quilt, but I'd rather just be safe in case things go south. I can be safe in this if, for some reason I can't get a fire started, or, who knows, I'm out there for a while. So this is my setup. This is my sleeping bag. Total in all of this, I have about 23 pounds. So I'm at 23 pounds just in gear. And it's my winter gear, so I don't mind to be a little bit heavier. I'm gonna have probably 2 to 3 pounds of additional stuff once I add extra clothes. And I add just a few other items here or there. My food is typically gonna weigh about 5 to 7 pounds. So I'm gonna have some additional weight there. And then with my water, I'm probably gonna be at about 8 pounds, right around there, give or take 2 pounds, depending on how much I choose to carry. So my weight with my water and my food is gonna be in that 35 to 40 pound range, which is what the max range is for this pack. So I've got it dialed in to where I want it. Very excited to get out for this trip. Once again, love the hot tent camping. But I got my gear down so I can use this pack. So being in that 35 to 40 pound range is going to give me probably a 12-mile hiking range that I'm comfortable with. And so I can get out into some really remote areas with this setup, which I'm excited about. So I can't wait to see what I put together for you guys. I cannot wait to get out on one of my hot tent trips. I'm looking at some cool areas, like I said, hopefully for next weekend, so I can put a great video together for you guys then. But this is what I'm going to take on the trip. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next video. Hey guys, if you liked the video you just saw, please subscribe, click the bell so you can get alerted for any new videos that I may do, and check the links below for any information I described in the video. I'll try to put as much there as possible. Thanks for watching.